when I rise
You
up.
don't have to start that again.
Yes, ma'am. You are. Ooh, wrong show. No, okay. Okay.
Take the lead.
Three. Welcome everyone to Soul of the Matter with Melanie Lavender and my guest Miss Vickie Oldham and Mydahila Glover are here with me today, and we are on site at the Historic Leonard Reid House, and some of the art that you see are a part of the exhibit of When I Rise, the Power of Black Artists. So we will definitely say Happy Black History Year, because it's not just a month, we're celebrating 365 days of the year. Now, can you introduce yourselves and tell us what it is that you do here at the Historic Leonard Reid House?
I'm Vickie Oldham, and I am the chief cook and bottle washer. I also raise money.
My name is Mydahila Glover, and I am the administrator and the assistant cook and bottle washer and events manager, but seriously, administrator and events manager.
Yes. And the Leonard Reid House is here on the corner of Orange and Martin Luther King in Sarasota. The first questions, and this first question is for you, Vickie. What's a pivotal moment or a decision in your career that shaped the path to success?
That's a deep and big question. I would say a defining moment for me was when I left Sarasota and took a job in Georgia working at an HBCU called Fort Valley State University. I did not want to go. I did not want to leave Sarasota. Some things were happening with the Looking for Angola history project that I had started, and I just didn't want to go. But I talked with some of my mentors, and I was hoping that they would say, no, I don't think that you should take that job. Would you know it? All of them said, that's a really great opportunity. I think you should take that job. I was like, oh my God. So I packed up my car and I accepted the job. And it was the best decision that I could have made. To Georgia as a marketing director of this HBCU. But I had never been a marketing director before. I had been a TV news journalist, but not marketing director. But, I had dabbled in it. I am just thankful for President Larry E. Rivers, who had the confidence to hire me as that marketing director. And I tell you what, it was a bunch of women in my department that put that university on, a really great path for getting great publicity. I mean, we just kept hammering great stories about what was happening at the university, and the media would pick it up. And I started to learn a lot about how to market a Black institution. Wow. Little did I know that I was learning how to market my own Black community in marketing that Black institution. Wow. And so, we were doing everything that you can imagine. We were putting press releases. We were booking the president for TV interviews. I was writing speeches for the president. We were booking ads in all sorts of places, TV news, radio stations, magazines. We were publishing an academic journal based on the research of the professors. Yeah. And so none of this, well, let me me just say, I know how to write, but all those aspects I did not know how to do. But when you do it day in and day out, for about 9 years, you learn how to do it. And so I think it's really ironic that I would do that, didn't want to leave, but then came back here to do what I learned to do for my own Black community. And I just think it's just amazing. And I've always been interested in being in the will of God. I have always prayed for the will of God for my life. I was always questioning whether I was in the will of God. But I guess in the praying about being in the will of God and wanting to, I was totally in the will of God.
And even in that uncomfortable spot he put you in, but he put you in it to grow it without you knowing you were going to come back home and use those same skills.
I did not know.
To bring notice and attention to our community.
I will say this again too. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried being in that place because it was so unfamiliar. It was in the middle of, it was 20 miles Fort Valley is off of I-75 going west. Just a really small Black community. Have you been there? And there's a railroad that runs straight through the city.
Oh wow.
And you know, it's a poor community.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Sarasota where you see all these grand, beautiful palm trees and you're 10 minutes from the bay and the Gulf. You know, it wasn't that beauty. So I missed home every day. But I had to believe that I'm here for a reason. I don't understand it.
But it is a reason. And so I think there has to be a willingness to go, because when you surrender to God in these decisions and when he opens up doors, you don't know. It is sometimes unsure. So I think it's okay, and that people understand that when you are uncomfortable and you're going through this growing and stretching, that you're gonna cry. Yeah. It's gonna be.
And I just longed for home. And I get on the road and drive home just about every weekend.
Oh wow.
From Georgia
to here. So how many hours was that?
It was 6-hour drive.
6-hour drive.
Mm-hmm. And Sunday, it was so hard to leave. I would leave just in time to get back and get somewhat of a good night's sleep. And sometimes I would not leave until like 2 a.m. to drive back to work.
Yeah.
And drive straight there and go to my office. I'd be ready to present myself and all of that, dressed and everything, but I'd be driving all night. But that's how much I missed this place. This is a lovely community.
What was that moment for you that brought you into this success and into the moment here at the Leonard Reid House?
Well, for me, it has been several different things. COVID was really a big change for me because I'm from the educational realm. So I was a preschool educator, and when COVID hit and there wasn't a clear understanding of how they were going to deal with educators, with teachers, with students, and there was no real policy about keeping us safe, I had to make a decision for myself. And so I decided I would stay home. And then the opportunity came to be at the library here at the Betty Jean Johnson Library. And I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity. I'll do this for a while and then I'll meet people. And then I also wanted to get to know the community because at that point, I had only been here for 4 years. And all of my friends and everything were centered around Booker High School or SSAS Elementary because, as a mom, you usually have friends of your children's parents. So anyway, when a friend of mine, I have to say her name.
Go ahead.
Frances Bermudez came to me and she said, well, there's an opportunity to work with Vickie Oldham. Now, I had met you once before.
At the library.
At the library when we had Governor, well, he's not governor at the time. He wasn't governor at the time.
California governor?
Was he governor
Yeah,
at the
he
time?
was governor.
So,
Gavin Newsom.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Gavin Newsom came popping into the library. We were all like, oh, what's going on? And I saw Vickie come in and I was like, oh, I know what's going on.
It's something important.
You know what? But after that, when Frances came and said, oh, there's a chance that you could work with this organization. And I had heard about it in the news. And me, myself, love history. My family and I have been working on our genealogy for the past 20 years. Doing research, we mostly come from the Northeast, Virginia, New York area, but we had been doing our research and found out that we had family in Georgia, just across the line, Valdosta, and Bainbridge, and also in Moultrie. When they did it and they knew it was effective, they knew they had changed something. And he would share that with me, and then my grandmother, I would see her with her ladies group, and they would come together to send somebody to college.
Wow.
I'm getting chills now because all that work I saw them do. And then my mother, her being one of the first Black students in Virginia State, and they ran out the first day of class as a college student. She would run out, but she went back. And then she went back again, and they continued to go back. And to think that I am now holding on to the mentor. And I have to continue because I love them so much and what they did for me. And then I love the next generation as much. And I see these babies. And I'm not talking about the little tiny ones. I'm talking about the 25, the 30, the 45. I see them, and they are not standing for the foolishness. They're gonna rise up. They're gonna take the mantle. They're gonna do it in their way, and they're going to need me and the others to show them the way. You are showing them the way, letting them know the power they come from. And that's what I love. Our people are
So powerful.
We have an ability to make something out of nothing.
Oh yeah. So I'm remembering what Dr. Martin Luther King told a small group of young people when Mydahila said what she said. They had no money, no power, no influence, and they had the audacity to think that they could tackle poverty in the United States, militarism, and racism. But they did. And Zernona Clayton, who was with Turner Broadcasting, she started sharing this story about how she was listening as one of those young people that Dr. King was speaking to. And it just lit a fire under me. I'm like, they didn't have anything, no power and influence, and still made such a big old difference. What can we do when we have all this? All this technology. So my message to our young people is definitely tell our stories using all this technology that we have through podcasts, through historic markers, through AI, through TV videos, documentaries, narrative films, music videos, books, adult novels, right? Anyway, paintings, spoken word. You did it through spoken word.
Yes, ma'am. God.
Exactly.
He's been good to us, to our community, as well as to me. What are some of the challenges you faced while finding the funds for the Leonard Reid House, to make the museum, to do the trolley tours.
That was the challenge.
That was.
Finding the funds. Finding the funds. Because if you don't continue with a lot of publicity and people don't really know what you're doing and they've not been able to read anything about it, they don't know anything about it, they're not going to part with their money. That's why we gotta stay in, we gotta continue to tell our stories in the best way that we can, through newsletters, through email blasts, through text messages, phone calls, you name it, TV news stories, podcasts. That is why the challenge was raising money, because you got to write grants, and you got to write well enough to tell a story so that grant panelists can be sold on your story. Here's a story. We wrote a grant 2 years ago. Thought we were going to get some big money. I felt like we had put a whole bunch of work into that grant, and we did. And we did. But one panelist sowed some doubt in the minds of her fellow panelists, and we did not get the money. We did not get the money. But fast forward 2 years to just like maybe a month ago, we learned that we're going to get that grant.
Woo-hoo! Congratulations.
Yeah, so, and that's a story.
Yeah.
It's a miracle, but you can't count it out. Nothing out.
Absolutely not. That's amazing.
Maybe it wasn't our time at that point, but you just got to get out there and tell your story. Whatever story it is that you're trying to tell, you just got to get out there and tell it, and just keep telling it over and over and over. And somebody will believe, wow, I see your passion.
They'll connect with that passion.
Yeah, through and not knowing it, just by hearing your story. What kind of impact do you feel the Leonard Reid House, or do you want the Historic Leonard Reid House to have in our community, in our society?
Well, you know that history, our history in particular, is under attack. It's been under attack. When we started this project in 2015, I had no idea. We didn't know that this was going to happen. Black history was just available.
Yeah.
It was just available. Now, yes, you had your usual people who enjoyed it, older people really enjoyed it. So I don't know how I got, kind of caught up in it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't under attack in 2015. We were just documenting it and loving it and sharing it. And then come, 3 years ago? 4? This attack.
Yeah.
Well, my goal is to make sure that Sarasota knows what African American people did.
Yeah.
From Overtown and Newtown. Boy, they were a feisty, scrapping bunch.
Yeah.
They didn't take no for an answer. I love that about them.
They built the community out of a swamp, it seemed like. I would say the mud, but it was pretty swampy.
It was called Black Bottom. There was a Black Bottom in Overtown. There was a Black Bottom in Newtown. And yes, when it rained, it would get pretty muddy, and there were ditches, and kids would, to enjoy water after a big rain, like people go to the beach and enjoy water.
Yeah.
Our kids would go to a ditch and just splash around with the tadpoles.
Yeah. Catching mosquito hawks and playing games.
And there was a big train car in the back of the cemetery, Galilee Cemetery.
Yes, ma'am.
And it would fill up with water, and kids would go back there and swim. And a few drowned.
Okay.
And that sent a chilling effect through this community. I do remember that. Because my grandma was like, whoa, oh.
You're not playing over there.
You will not be going.
Don't let me catch you over there.
Right. And then there was something called the Rock Crush. I didn't go over there, but there was something called a Rock Crush, some dolomite mining area where water would fill and kids would go over there to play. But you know, Mary Emma Jones said enough is enough. I'm going before the county commission, and I'm going to ask for a colored beach, because that was the term used at the time.
Yeah.
And years later, Neil Humphrey said, let's start these caravans and wade in.
And that's what they did.
That is what they did. So, this scrapping bunch of people, I love them.
Yeah.
I love them, and I think I've become one of them. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, because it's in those voices. If they didn't have those fights and that fire inside to make change, we would still be living in Jim Crow.
Oh, yes.
So they had to face some adversities and challenges because it made them stronger to deal with that fight.
It did.
How do you encourage those coming next, that next generation? What is one thing you want them to know?
Oh, I want them to know that this history, so that they can grab and embrace this courage, this dignity. Hold your head up, and this determination. Don't take no for an answer. If somebody says no one way, try another. You know, because no doesn't necessarily mean you can't get it. It might mean no right now, but you just gotta, keep trying and keep growing. That's the message, and that's the message in all of this work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mydahila, is that the same message? Is there a message you want them to know?
Well, I definitely want the children or the young adults to realize they are history. What they're living through right now will be history for the next generation. The decisions they make, what they do, even the music they listen to or what they popularize. It becomes history. Just like when I was younger, we were excited about hip hop. I remember the newspapers calling it, this black person's having an attack. Instead of a beautiful expression of music. But now look at it. We have all these different artists that are making millions of dollars from this thing that was created 35, 40 years ago. So they need to understand their place in history now. And the only way they can do that is by knowing where they came from. So they'll have clarity as to where they can go and understand, once again, don't take no for an answer. Because it really means, I need more information. Give me more information, and then we'll see. So that's what I want them to come away with when they come to the house.
Oh, wow.
You mentioned hip hop, and I'm thinking about Squabble Up.
Oh.
Have you heard of Squabble Up?
Yeah.
So, y'all didn't tell me about Squabble Up. I had to learn Squabble Up on my own.
No.
Okay?
I'm still trying to learn.
So I was listening to a sermon Sunday, and Squabble Up was in the theme.
Oh, wow.
And the young minister, he laid it down.
Oh, wow.
And it caused me to want to go and see. Well, he said that Kendrick Lamar had written these lyrics and had this song. So I'm like, is this a real song?
Yeah.
He said it meant to dance and it meant to fight. And he said, yeah, we're going to fight. We're going to fight for our history and fight that it not be erased, but we're going to dance and we're going to celebrate the blessings that we have. And I went to listen to the Kendrick Lamar song. I'm like, doggone it,
Swallow up. Did you enjoy it?
Okay.
I did.
You did. See, Kendrick is who is a Pulitzer Prize winning artist for his literary, the way he writes his rap, his use of verbs and similes and the pictures
The
that
levels,
yeah,
the meanings of it are multi-dimensional, and people are studying
I know.
the lyrics.
Yes, they are.
Yes, Kendrick Lamar.
That's our people. That's the brilliance.
Yeah.
That is the brilliance of our people. So put us on the football field. We're going to show out on the football field.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put us in academia.
Yep.
We're going to show out in academia.
Yeah.
Science.
We're going to show out.
Wouldn't have cell phones
Without us.
without us.
Without us. And with this attack that is happening on Black history, what are some of the ways that people and listeners can get involved during these difficult times?
I would say go online. The internet is not bad. It's not bad. I was talking to a retired educator just today, and he was saying, where do I find this information? I want to know what to do, who to boycott, what to do. I was like, well, you better get on social media and start putting some words in the search, because it will spit out what's going on.
Yeah.
And you've got to be intentional about looking for it, and you've got to talk to people that are in the know. Come to the Reid House. Mydahila will hook you up.
Yeah.
She knows, because she's got young people in her house.
Yeah.
Two in college, or one in college, and one just out of college, and one about to go to college.
One graduating college, two in college, and one getting ready to go in a year and a half.
So she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And I am, hungry for it, and I'm definitely trying to talk to as many people as I can to stay in the know. And you, oh my goodness, you're a resource.
Yes.
They got to find people who are resources and do that digging for themselves. And there are people on TV and have their own platforms who are influencers that we can trust. Podcasts, absolutely.
Podcast.
There is no excuse.
Vet your people though. Vet that information, where they're coming from, and how are they getting their information. Definitely, the internet is out there.
It's out there, and it's information. There's a certain generation that has a fear of it.
Yes.
Certain people will get on. We've seen some grandmas doing TikToks, and this older generation, some of them are embracing it. How do we let some of the older generation know that it's not that bad? Do we hold classes? Do we do workshops?
Well, I'll say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, she passed away when she was 96. But from, I would say, the time that I came on the scene, which she was probably in her 70s, she would dance with us. She would literally say, come on in here and teach me the new dance. What's going on out there? Come out here and tell me who is this Don Cornelius. We got y'all every single Saturday. Every single Saturday. And then my mother did the same thing. She would be like, come on, what's going on? What's happening out here? Show me the next thing. And then she would come and be with my kids and be like, y'all get together up here and dance. Same thing with Jim's mom, my husband Jim. They would always ask us to show them what's the new thing. And we were so happy to do it because we just loved them. And they loved on us so much. Now it was our time. So we need to get our communities, our children, and our seniors back together again in some type of engaging, connecting project, program, which I think would be like line dance. Everybody loves line dancing. We seem to connect through it, and we can do it together.
Right.
Or storytelling. Sure. And what was it, the beautiful event that happened, where they spoke with an older person and there was a teenager and they came together.
Oh, yeah, right. And the
Impact Theater.
Impact theaters, right? That type of thing.
and that's what this house is for. These intergenerational gatherings. One thing we don't want young people in this community to do, and middle-aged or older people, to be just insular and just, closed off.
Yeah.
This is not the time to be closed off. We've got to get information.
Yeah.
We've got to share information and get information about our health.
Yeah.
Because we don't, we had a pandemic that claimed a lot of lives, including my brother-in-law's life. We've got to get information so that we can arm ourselves to be as healthy as we can.
Yes.
And what about how we're supposed to be spending our money now?
Yes.
Some people are saying we need to hold on to our money because prices are about to go up because of these tariffs. I don't understand all about these tariffs. I'm trying to understand, but guess what? I ain't trying to spend a whole lot of money foolishly either. On stuff. I don't even feel like spending money.
No, that's the one thing you're going to be able to understand about tariffs. The consumer fits the bill. Take it on, whatever it is, whatever tariff, whatever country, the consumer pays it. So we have to be conservative, and we gotta keep the dollar out.
Right. And then what is going to happen to education? Public education for our children. Education is the thing that levels the playing field and offers our children an opportunity to be self-sufficient and to have, some home ownership, to be able to pay that car note, to be able to pay those insurances and everything. You've got to get educated. But what are they doing? What are they going to do to muck up the education system? We got to know that because all of us got either little cousins, in my case cousins, in your case children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews.
Yes. Neighbors. We just have neighbors with young children. And the one thing I feel very confident about, because we've seen it happen before, when our community has had enough, we come together and we build it for ourselves.
That's right.
They were trying to take away the schools or trying to force us into an integration or taking this away and taking that away. And we said, no more. We'll teach our own children.
That's right.
And we died for education. Our ancestors died so that they could be educated, so they could read, so they could write, they could do for themselves, because that's free.
That's right.
That
And
free.
buy from each other.
Yeah.
Black-owned entrepreneurs, Black-owned services. I'm trying to hire us.
Yeah.
We've got to get off of some of these platforms that don't mean us any good and buy directly from owners, Black owners.
Make our money circulate again.
Make our money circulate.
And take back our buying power, our purchasing, because we do the most purchases.
We've sustained Cadillac. Had it not been for Black people, Cadillac would not exist right now.
Okay, that story.
That's a
How about that story? All right. What about that economic boycott?
Yes.
That our NAACP leaders mounted when the school district in Sarasota wanted to shut our neighborhood schools.
Yep.
Our NAACP leaders said, tell you what, some 2,334 Black students will not go to your public school until we can reach an agreement. They started these freedom schools in churches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our Black leaders and new college students taught Black children while the grown-ups went to the negotiating table and came up with an agreement.
Yeah.
that was an economic boycott.
Yes.
The money from the state of Florida wasn't coming into Sarasota County, not for each student. And when you count up whatever that allotment was for 2,300 something students, that's a lot of money. Not to come into this district.
Yeah.
No, we've got to do some more economic boycotts.
Yeah. Make our buying power known.
Exactly.
There is so much going on in this world. How are you planning to continue on despite what people like the CEO of America trying to ban African American History Month?
So I gotta stay focused. I just gotta stay focused. This strategy that's going on right now of confusion to get us looking at, oh, he did so and so, oh, he did so and so, oh, he said so and so. It's all to take us off focus and get us off kilter and get us off our calling and to cause fear. Can't do it. Just gotta stay focused, stay spiritually strong, prayed up, and around the right people. And I can't consume a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
Can't. I want to give out positivity. But that's how I'm going to survive it and be around love, my family, and my friends, and the community that loves me, and people who just tolerate me. I don't need to be around that energy. If I can help it. Now sometimes we can't help it because of this world that we're living in. But I'm intentional about some strategies because we gotta survive this.
Oh, yeah. That's discernment. You gotta have discernment to know who is your ally and who is not, who is there to support, who's trying to just take away. And you'll know.
And it's not gonna be necessarily, everyone's not gonna look like us.
No.
That are our allies or our enemies.
That's
sometimes.
true.
Thank you, ladies, so much for spending this evening and talking with us and letting us know about what is going on and how you're using your power and influence to really make change and let our voices be heard in a time when our voices are trying to be silenced. So I am so grateful for you. I am thankful for you. Thank you for telling this story, for being a place for community. There's been some great talks here, and anything we should know that's coming up in the future.
Well, yes, we definitely have a lot of things coming up in the future, but mainly we definitely are going to be having a Afrofuturism Festival coming up towards the fall. That's something that we want to look forward to. But closer than that, we are going to be having movie night here at the Reid House. We're going to have spoken word, a night of love, coming up on the 12th, which is a Wednesday evening. We also have financial literacy classes with BMO Bank, so they'll be here. And we also are going to be having Women's History Month here. We have a book club coming, so there's a lot of different things, so be on the lookout for it. Check us on our website, which is thesac.org, which is SAACC, and then of course our Facebook page and Instagram.
And I want to say people are calling and emailing about tours, history tours. With the increase in attacks, there is an increase in interest too. And so we love hosting tours in this house. We talk about the Reid family And I love hosting tours of the grounds. We haven't done too many tours of the grounds, but there was some intention about the plants that are on these grounds. And then of course, the trolley tours. And even if we can't pull a big trolley tour together with 30-something people, I'll hop in an SUV with 5 people. I'll hop in somebody's car with 3 people, and we can go around and talk about history.
Yeah. So this is definitely a place of learning, of community, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this amazing community. Thank you so much, ladies, and thank you all for listening and watching Soul of the Matter with Melanie here at the Historic Leonard Reid House.